Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Now in this video we're going to go over 3 drills which will help you get the most out of the Porsche 911 Cup car on iRacing. Yes, you heard me right, 3 drills, that's all. And they can be applied at any circuit. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about the Porsche Cup car, we're going to do the 3 drills, and then we're going to go out on track and put those into practice. So the Porsche Cup car itself, it's over 400 horsepower, it's rear-engined, as in it sticks right out the back, there's no TC, there's no ABS, and in my opinion it's probably the most difficult car to drive fast on iRacing. But for that reason, it's probably the most rewarding when you get it right. So because the Porsche is rear-engined, it means the front of the car is light. So on the slower turns, we need to somehow get the front of the car loaded so the front tyres have as much grip as we possibly can. And we're going to do that with trail braking. So the other thing that we are going to touch upon in this video is brake bias and the impact that that has on the car. Then we're going to talk about using the power of the car and its lack of TC to get you out of the corners better, to get the car pointing where you need it to go. And then we're going to take the car on a couple of laps around the Nürburgring to try and put all those into practice. So without further ado, let's get on with it. Right, for these 3 drills, we're going to be here at the centripetal circuit. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know, but we're here at the skid pan. Now you'll see on the circuit there are numbers on each of the lanes. Now the one we're going to be using for the first drill is 60. So it's the circle, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out from the centre. And what we're going to be looking at first is trail braking. Now trail braking is really hard to demonstrate on a racetrack because your lines are different. But I think it'll be much easier demonstrated here where we can actually use the constant white lines as a reference point and it will demonstrate the effectiveness of a little bit of brake. Now trail braking isn't an easy thing to demonstrate because when you do it autonomously. You don't know you're doing it. So we're going to do it here. We're going to try and demonstrate it as best we can. And once you understand it, then you'll be able to take this into your races moving forward. So we're going to move out towards the 60 lane. So that's 30, 40, 50, 60. Here we go. Anywhere you want. Doesn't really matter. And we're just going to accelerate, 3rd gear. And we're just going to hold a constant radius round here. Speed-wise, yeah, 90-ish, just over. And we're going to be looking at that outside line to use as our reference point. So as we accelerate, we don't want to be going out at this outside line. We want to try and stay in the outside line at all times. So we're going to do it first without any brake. We're going to lift off the throttle to get it back in line. So we'll accelerate and we'll lift. And as you can see, it moves away from the white line. But it takes forever to do so. So again, we'll do it again. We'll just move away slowly. There we go. I'm not using any brake. There, it just takes forever. Now we're going to do the same again, but applying a small amount of brake, maybe 10-15%, that's all. We don't need any more. All we want to do is load the front of the car, so all the weight are on the front tyres, so they bury themselves into the road surface and turn. So we're going to do the same again, a little bit of brake. As you can see by my telemetry, I'm hardly using any brake at all, but just how much quicker it comes back on into line. And obviously the harder you press, the more exaggerated that becomes. And you hold it and then it will tighten and tighten and tighten. So the more you press, the more exaggerated it becomes, like I mentioned. So we'll just press it a little bit harder. And then you're going to be into the realms of over-rotation there. That's how people over-rotate, just going into the turns there. So what you can do is you can apply a bit more pressure and then release it just as the car starts to come back into line. So brake and then release. We're still keeping a little bit of brake on. And then you can start manipulating the throttle, small inputs, and you can see how much faster we're going around there now. Just by keeping the front of the car loaded. So we're up to high 90s now. So without brake, it's running wide. We've got to back right off, and then it just takes forever to get back into line. So do it both ways, just so you get a feel for it. It's exactly the same, obviously. We'll make sure we're in the right lane. Are we in 60? Is this 60, 50? I think it's this one. So again, I think we're in the wrong one there. There we go. This is the one. So again, looking at that outside line, no brake. It takes forever to come back into line. And we'll do the same again. A little bit of brake. How much quicker it comes back in. And that's essentially all trail braking is. It's just keeping a little bit of weight on the front tyres, just to keep them loaded, just to help the car to rotate. And as I mentioned, too much brake and you get over rotation. And there, I probably used about 30% brake there. Not a lot, especially in the Porsche with the engine swung out over the rear. So the next thing we're going to talk about is braking. Now, we've got the Sprint setup loaded. Everything's as stock. Brake pressure 49%. The higher that number, the more braking force there is at the front of the car. So all we're going to be doing here is going up and down and braking in a straight line. So this again isn't the most exciting drill, but what I do is we're going to be using this straight line as our reference point. We're going to be accelerating up here, probably up to 4th gear. And we're going to be using the other side of the circle as our braking marker. So there it's going to be the red side, and we're going to be braking here, and as you can see there are markers on the road surface telling us where we got it stopped. So we're probably going to get it stopped around about 80, 90, something like that. So we're going to do it first with 49% brake pressure bias, and with a number that high the car's going to be really stable under braking in a straight line, but it's going to be more prone to locking up the front tyres. So that initial application's got to be quite smooth, but once you do have the brake pressure applied, then you can start to squeeze it a little bit more when the car's settled. So we'll accelerate up here, up into 4th gear. So at the end of the line there we're going to be braking. So just before the 90. But tyres are cold. We'll do that a couple more times. Just at the end of the circle, braking. And there you can see my brake pressure was quite high there, probably around about 80%. For a car with no ABS, that's quite a lot. So you can brake a lot harder than you think in the Porsche. You've just got to be quite progressive with the brake. That initial application, as I mentioned, has got to be quite smooth. But once you're on the brakes and the front of the car is loaded, then you can start to squeeze. So we'll do one more at 49. We're just at the end of the circle, braking. So before the 80 that time, again, quite high braking force there. So we're going to lower the brake pressure bias down to, we'll go to 47. So in the race sometimes I'm down as low as 43.7, 44, something like that, which is quite low, which means obviously the rear tyres are doing a lot of the braking and you're more prone to over rotation on the brakes, and it's a lot more unstable, as you'll probably see. So at 49 it was as straight as a die. Going to brake there. Again, not too bad, just at the end there when it started to slip, it did start to move. We'll do that again. So as you can see, I'm actually having to compensate with the wheel there, because the car does want to move. And then we'll lower the brake pressure bias once more. We'll go down to 45. I know I'm going in big jumps. You wouldn't normally go in increments that large, but I'm just trying to exaggerate the effect it has. So down to 45 now. As you can see, a lot more unstable. You do have better braking with brake pressure bias further back, but it's a lot more unstable. You need to find your happy place. Try it one more time. Up to 4th gear. As you can see, not really happy. And we'll just wind that back up again to 49, and you'll see how well behaved it is under braking at 49. There, straight as a die. So that's something to bear in mind. Do some practice. Find your happy place with the brake bias where you can bring it to a stop without it wanting to spin round. So the third drill we're going to look at is slip angle and using it to your advantage. Now this is more relevant for faster corner exits, but we can demonstrate it here at this circuit and use the white lines as a reference point. Now, so we'll get out there. I think we use the 160 lane here, I think. So find the 160 lane. That's 120, 30, 40, 50, 60. And we're going to be using the inside white line. And we're going to be going up to 4th gear. And we're going to be straddling this line. And we're going to be finding a happy place. Normally around about 150 kilometers an hour, just under. So we've found a speed there. We can hold the throttle and get it round this turn, no problem. But if we accelerate slowly, the car pushes wide. Do that again. So accelerate, the car pushes wide. But what we want to do, we want to use the accelerator to get the rear of the car to start to rotate only slightly, because you've got to remember that this is going to be on corner exit and it's going to last for a second, 2 seconds maximum until you need to straighten the car again and get on your way. So this constant turning, it's not really ideal, but it demonstrates how much the car will rotate under acceleration. So again, we're straddling this line, and then by just applying the accelerator a little bit more aggressively, you can see it starts to rotate, and it didn't push wide. Do it again rotating. So what you can do is accelerate, and then we just ease. That's it, just easing. Just playing with the throttle there. You're not stabbing it and keeping it pinned. We're going to be applying the throttle, getting it to rotate. It's going, there it is. And there we go, it's gone. The tyres are obviously getting really hot, going round in a circle, but you get the idea. Now, what lane are we in? So it's 140, it's this one here. So we'll do the same again. It's up to 4th gear, straddling this line. Yeah, around about 150, just over 150, and then we accelerate slowly and the car pushes wide. We're not making any changes to our steering input there. It pushes wide. But what you want to do is you want to get it to start rotating. There it is, it's going. But again, you've got to be careful because it all happens really quickly. But in the real world, you're going to be applying the throttle, getting the car to rotate up the straight, and you're going to be straightening the tyres, the front tyres, and you're going to be on your way in a straight line. You're not going to be turning left, and turning left. So we're going to be applying the throttle, then we're going to be straightening it up, and then on our way. Another drill, one final drill. You can combine a couple of the drills we've gone over here now. So you can accelerate and then it pushes wide, then trail brake and bring it back. Again, just by applying a little bit of brake. It's similar to the one we did earlier on, but just a bit more high speed. And there we go. But it's fun going round in circles, sliding a Porsche. So there we go. There's a few drills that should help you understand the Porsche a little bit better. So we've done the drills. Now it's time to take them to the track. So we are here at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. Now, coincidentally, this circuit is the Porsche Cup car circuit this week. But this is a great circuit to demonstrate trail braking because all of the corners here, you are trail braking to get the car to the apex. So bear in mind as well that the Porsche Cup car tyres take forever to get up to temp, or a good lap and a half. So just bear that in mind on your first laps. Be very, very careful. So you can see in the bottom right, brake bias is 49%. That's stock with the sprint setup. The higher the number, the more braking is done by the front tyres. It's more stable, but the braking distances are longer. The lower the number, the more braking goes to the rear tyres. Braking distances are shorter, but the car is a lot more unstable, braking in a straight line, and obviously more prone to over rotation when you're trail braking. So you've just got to practice with that and find the number that works well for you. So we're just going to leave it on 49 just for now. We're not going to change anything. We're just going to get some heat into the tyres, so we don't throw ourselves off track. So here, this is a heavy braking area down into the carousel. It's a double apex, this one. We'll hit the first part, then going to bring it back for the second one. Although you can hold a nice tight line around there because it is cambered. So there's two lines through there. So again, a little bit of brake just to get the car to the apex. Really easy to lose it on there. So again, more trail braking. Just a little bit. Just to get the car to the apex, and then once you're there, you can then accelerate. That turn is a perfect example of where you need to get the car to rotate on the throttle. Obviously you're not on the brake there, you're accelerating, and then down into this awful chicane. Okay, so final turn, more trail braking, everywhere you're trail braking here. Everywhere in the Porsche Cup car really, any circuit, you are going to be trail braking. So that is a skill that you do need to get a grip of if you want to be competitive in the Porsche Cup car. So we're going to be braking straight line, gently initially, but then you can squeeze the pedal. Once you've got that initial application done, you can then squeeze. So trail brake to the apex, and then we're going to be accelerating, get the car to rotate on the throttle. Again, more trail braking, down to second gear, just hold it, and then it'll come back. Nice and gentle out of here, really easy to lose the back end coming out of that turn. So initially quite heavy braking area this one, but then we're going to be just backing off the brake, holding it a little bit, just to get the car to rotate to the apex. So it's no different to what we were doing in the drill. All we're doing is holding a tiny bit of brake just to get the nose of the car pointing where you want it to be. I'll show you this other line through here now. So you can be nice and tight all the way around because it is cambered. Either way, I've not really noticed a massive time difference, because you do have to back off for the Michael Schumacher S's anyway, so it's not like you're going to carry all that speed up a long straight. So again, the fastest line through this turn, you're going to be over this curb on the inside, but bear in mind that that does unsettle the car a little bit. And then brake into the apex, and then we're going to be getting on the gas, get the car to rotate there, just a little bit, that's what I meant, just a little bit, just get it pointing where you want it to be. then braking hard for the final chicane. A little bit better. So that's how we use it in practice. Practice those techniques that we did on the skid pan. I know it's not called the skid pan, but practice those techniques. And once you've got those down and understand how a little bit of brake can dramatically change the direction of your car, then you're on to a winner. So there we go, 3 simple drills. Practice those on the skid pan. Once you've got them down, take them on track, and I promise you, things will be a lot easier once you understand the basic principles of what makes the Porsche Cup car tick. I see a lot of people struggling with the Porsche Cup car, and as a result, I'm sure a lot of people throw it in the trash can after 2 or 3 laps and think, I'm not driving that, it's horrible. But don't. Honestly, as I mentioned earlier on, it's probably the most fun car to drive once you get a grasp of what makes it tick. So if this video did help, please let me know in the comments. Give the video a like. If you want to see more, click this icon if you want to subscribe. Over here will be some of my older videos. As always, thanks for watching. See you later. Cheers.